Don't panic. But Etsy has a dragon problem. 3D print sellers are freaking out after discovering Etsy updated its creativity standards while in stealth mode. This update could ban many popular 3D models from being sold on Etsy and push 3D printing sellers right off the platform. Now, let's break down what changed, why it matters, and how 3D print sellers can adapt and thrive on Etsy. A couple of days ago, Etsy updated its creativity standards without a peep. The change wasn't announced in a blog post or detailed in a recent fireside chat that Etsy held with its director of marketplace policy. It was buried deep on the website, hidden in the legal section under Our House Rules. But some eagle-eyed sellers spotted the rewrite. Etsy deleted a single line, a line that redefines what counts as made by a seller for those of us who use computer-aided tools in our craft. Before, Etsy said 3D printed items such as those made with a 3D printer, a laser, a CNC, or a Cricut machine, those were all acceptable if they were your own design or if they were made using a pattern or a template. Now, patterns and templates, that's our STL files that we're used to using in the 3D printing world. Now the rule reads, items must be produced based on a seller's original design. Full stop. That one line could eliminate a massive amount of 3D printed, lasered, and machine cut items currently for sale on Etsy. This change directly affects sellers using professional designs, even if they're legally licensed, from creators like Cinderwing 3D, Zoo 3D, ForgeCore, Flexi Factory, STLFlix, and many others. Under the new rules, even if you paid for a commercial license, Etsy may still remove your listing. And if you didn't design it, you can't sell it. Best of all, Etsy hasn't even explained how they plan to enforce any of this. So, how did we get here? Etsy has a bit of a dragon problem. Now, I hate to pick on Cinderwing, who, for full disclosure, I do support on Thangs, and I sell her dragons in person at local markets. I have an Etsy shop, but it's on vacation mode. I've been way too busy to run a shop full time and freelance and do this YouTube thing. But if you open up Etsy and type 3D print, you're going to get a dragon, a Cinderwing crystal dragon, a dragon that at my first Christmas market caused small people to squeal in excitement and yell, "Hey, it's the TikTok dragon." So there's a reason that these dragons are so popular. People love them. Now, you're also going to find a couple more crystal dragons, a dragon from Layers in Green, one ripping off a toothless, and boy, this red one, I'm not even familiar with that, but I'm pretty sure I saw it over on Temu when I was researching over on that platform. Now, go into the browser, type dragon. Oh, now we got 3 crystals right up top, 11 more from Cinder. 10 of those are the crystal dragon. One's a gem, and then there's a cherry blossom dragon. 39 of these models were 3D printed, and very few were unique. So, why are there so many 3D printed dragons on Etsy? I mean, besides the fact that they're cute. I have a theory. I might be totally wrong, but here's what I do know. About 3 years ago, there was a Nexus Point in the 3D printing world. McGybeer went viral with his articulated dragon. Now, that's the first Flexi dragon, unless you count this one flat one. I don't know. Anyway, McGyber's dragon was first, but he restricted how many people could buy a license to sell his model. Also, printers back then were pretty slow, and one of these would probably take a couple of days to print. So, Cinderwing came out shortly thereafter with her crystal dragon, and we all fell in love with it. She launched a Patreon that anybody could join for $10 a month. Then, in the summer of 22, Bamboo Lab popped out of nowhere and launched the X1 Carbon. This was the first consumer-friendly plug-and-play 3D printer. It had 4 colors, it had gobs of speed. We were all amazed. So Bamboo opened the door for regular people to get into 3D printing. And those newbies decided that they wanted to monetize their hobby on Etsy. 3D printed dragons are now oversaturated, and sadly, in many cases, we're seeing very low quality because now it's not just a family that got a 3D printer for Christmas and decided to open up an Etsy shop. It's print farms with dozens of machines cranking out plates full of cheap prints. The race to the bottom began years ago, and Etsy has taken notice. This crackdown might not be about policy alone. It might be about cleaning up a very overcrowded marketplace. So, what can sellers do? Here's the good news: Etsy has not banned 3D printing. You just need to adjust your strategy. So, tip number one: sell your own designs. If you're a designer, this is your moment. Unique, original models are Etsy gold under this new policy. Tip number two: add personalization. Etsy loves custom items, and adding names, text, anything to these models is really easy. Um, okay, maybe it's not that easy for a dragon. There's not a lot of space on there, but for other things, it's very easy to customize prints. You can add text in your slicer, and if you want to, there's free tools like Tinkercad. You can add text there really easy. Let your customers pick out the fonts, the colors, and the message. That's all it takes to give that human touch that Etsy is looking for right now. Tip number three: assemble by hand. Believe it or not, Etsy still allows handcrafted assembly. So make your prints into something more. So you could add a glass eye to a dragon print. You could turn models into keychains or earrings. Sand those prints, give them a coat of glossy glitter, give them a little bit of paint. That little extra effort makes a huge difference. And again, an undeniable human touch. So, tip number four is curated gift sets. This is what I would do. Curated listings are Etsy approved, so bundle items into themed sets. Give your critters some eggs, a nest, a terrarium, or maybe a tiny treasure box to hoard. Here's where things get messy. Etsy's new policy doesn't just crack down on plastic dragons and little zoo animals. It's hitting any kind of digital to physical craft where people buy their design from an artist and reproduce it on their own machine. Now, this is the part that I don't understand. Etsy is still allowing AI generated art. Type a prompt into Midjourney, upload it, and sell the print. No problem. They say that they're supporting artists through the evolution of art. I'm working on a video about using Meshy AI to make custom 3D prints, so watch out for that. It's coming out real soon. It's suddenly a hell of a lot more relevant for all of us. So, are you a 3D print seller on Etsy? Is this policy change putting your shop at risk? Or are you already moving on, maybe to eBay, Facebook Marketplace, TikTok Shop, or just doing local craft fairs? Drop a comment below and let's do some brainstorming. What's going to be our next move? Are we adapting or are we getting out? And if you think this is exactly the kick in the pants that Etsy needs to get their platform cleaned up, then let me hear about that too. Etsy's new creativity standards have certainly thrown a wrench into the 3D printing community, or at least for those of us who have a 3D printing business or a side hustle. But this isn't the end, it's just a shift. If you're willing to adapt, to personalize, and get creative with how you package your work, your Etsy shop can still thrive. And to the designers like Cinderwing, ForgeCore, and Zoo3D, thank you. You built this ecosystem. Now it's up to us to keep it alive. Like and subscribe and share this with somebody who needs to hear it. The future of 3D printing shops isn't gone. It's just going to get more creative.